One thing I noticed about growing up is that naturally, like, you kind of slowly distance from your friends. And I'm not trying to say this in a negative way, saying that. Actually, let me rephrase that. I don't think you necessarily distance. Like, distance can be a part of it for sure, but I think mainly the types of friendships and the dynamics you have with friends from, let's say, your childhood or just friends in general change as you grow up. And it's kind of hit me because I've had, growing up, I've had a few, I'd say loads, but I'd say, yeah, quite a few best friends. But that's because, like, when you're younger, like, you don't really know what a best friend really is. It's just someone you probably hang out with the most, someone that you get along with probably the most, and you have a lot of similarities with. To the gym. And yeah, so as you grow older, I feel like dynamics between you and your friends change because your environment changes, and when your environment changes, like, different people have different environments, and then they kind of influence them, right? So, like, your environment will obviously change, but then their environment will also change. And also, just growing up, you learn, you adapt, you have different preferences. You might not have the same similarities as you did before, but you can still be friends. Like, I know, like, if I was to compare, like, let's say I had a best friend. Like, I had a very good friend. He's still one of my good friends till this day. Well, till this day he still is, but I don't talk to him as regularly than I did before. It's simply because, like, just dynamics have kind of changed. Like, his preferences have changed. Like, he kind of likes different things because when we went to university, we went to two different places, and basically, obviously, we have different friend groups, and because of that, you kind of adapt to, and you kind of become similar to those people around you, and also different. You just have different preferences. Like, everything just kind of changes because you grow older. Like, it's natural, it's normal. But we're still very good friends. Like, I'd still talk to him all the time, but I wouldn't say like we were when we were in school, when we would see each other like literally every day, and like we could say that we were best friends, I guess. But now it's more so like we're definitely good friends, but like I just think having a best friend is it must be nice, but like I don't know, like I don't think I definitely don't have that, but like I don't think it can be. I don't know, maybe it can. Maybe if you still have a really good friend that you still talk to the same way you did as before, then fair enough, but I just don't see it. Like, I don't see how it can happen when you grow up. Like, I just feel like the world is a lot more complicated than it would be in like a Netflix show or a movie or something. But yeah, like, I've had friends that I made at uni who I'd call like my best friend, but like now we're very good friends till this day. Like, I would ring them up, we'd hang out all the time, but I wouldn't say we're the same best friend, because dynamics just change. Like, especially like the two people I mentioned actually recently got into like relationships as well. So that is another way of change. Like, not necessarily a bad thing, of course. Like, I'm obviously very happy for them, but it just means like there are obviously changes where like you don't have that same level of friendship that you did before, but you're still good friends, if you know what I mean. And I think as you go through life, I feel like you meet loads of kind of new people. You meet I don't know, like, there are different people that enter your life at different stages in your life, and you kind of, yeah, I feel like friends just evolve. But having said that, I'm not saying that you just lose friends. Like, no, like, you don't just lose them. I mean, you could, like, for sure, but I don't think you just lose them like that, unless you just completely drift apart. And that's another topic in itself. I feel like there are many people that I know that were friends, but unfortunately drifted apart. But I feel like that's just life, man. That is just life. So first time trying this new Monster before going to the gym. Normally I have the Monster Ultra, where it's just a white one, 0 calories, and this one is also 0 calories, but it's a new one, Ultra Fiesta Mango, and it's very good. It is very good. I've heard good things about it, but it really is very good. So I might be having this more often then. Well, maybe once a week. And yeah, like, I don't know, like, I just had this thought because, like, usually I know, when I was younger at least, or even a couple of years ago, I know exactly, if someone asks me who's your best friend, I have an answer for that, you know? Like, I know, I can confidently say, oh, yeah, this person, I'd probably say I'm the most closest to. But now, I can't even pinpoint one person, man. Like, I genuinely can't. Like, I'd say, like, I have very close friends, but I don't think I have a best friend. And I'm weirdly okay with that. Like, I guess younger me would be like, oh man, I don't have a best friend. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, but me now, like, fair, yeah. I think actually, I think I'm my own best friend. Like, I genuinely, like, I spend a lot of time with myself as well, and I'm very comfortable being by myself. Like, I do love it, but at the same time, I do love being with people as well. But I know people that can't be by themselves. Like, these are very extroverted people where they, like, a moment to themselves, it just scares them. And that was just kind of odd to me, like, because, I mean, if I were, my personality, I did the personality test. I think I got mediator, but basically that's an INFP. I'm not sure if it's J or A. I think it's J, INFPJ, maybe. I'll have to double check, but it's definitely an INFP, where mostly, I'd say, I think it was 60% introverted and 40% extroverted, or it might have been 55% introverted, I don't know. But I know those people that just can't be by themselves, and I feel kind of bad for that, because I think it's inevitable. You know, you're going to be by yourself. Like, it's just, that is life at some point. And these people need friends, like best friends. They need them, like, because they're very dependent on other people, that just a moment by themselves scares them, to the point that they can't even spend their own, like, a night by themselves. And I think that's just an attachment issue there. But yeah, like, I feel like if you don't have a best friend, if, like, personally right now, I'm speaking to you, and you don't have a best friend, or you don't have someone that you can say, I don't really have a best friend, like, I can't name anyone, like, I've got close friends, or I'd just take that as a blessing, to be honest. Like, I genuinely would. I'd take that as a blessing. I'd say, listen, your own best friend, because you should care for yourself here. Like, stand up for yourself, but show up for yourself when you need yourself the most, because maybe your friends might do that. Maybe whenever you need something, I hope so, they show up, and that's the signs of a very good friend. And I really do urge you to do that when say your friend needs you the most. I'd say be there for them, for sure. Like, that's something that a very good friend, a quality of a very good friend, should always have, is to show up for your friends when you need them. But at the same time, do not depend on anyone showing up for you when you need something, right? Don't depend on that, but be there for you. Like, take care of yourself the most, I'd say. Like, and I think the way this is done is just being very comfortable in your own skin, just being by yourself. You know, one thing, this is some practical, and this advice like really changed my life, I'd say. And actually it's one of my good friends that told me this. And he said, just once a year, do something, like an activity, by yourself. And I say once a year, I say minimum once a year. Minimum. If you can do more, then that's great, do more. But at least just once a year, have a day to yourself, do an activity to yourself, just by yourself. And that's something that you would do with someone else, just do by yourself. Now, I don't know, like for me, I'd literally spend like a whole day doing like a bunch of activities, like for example, going to get like lunch by myself, or shopping. Sometimes I just love having like a day to myself where I can just shop. I mean, those aren't the greatest examples, I guess, but sometimes it could be like an activity. Like, I know I've done stuff like what's it called? Like, literally like a day out, like a normal day out that you would do with friends. Just do it by yourself. And what this is just being very present and very like kind to yourself, where you don't really like, to the point that you don't really depend on anyone else's, like you don't need to do these things with other people sometimes. Like, I don't know, it just helped me a lot. I've been doing that once a year at least, probably more to be honest, but yeah, it's nice. It's nice, like, just, go to a park, chill, go to a park, read a book by yourself, like just have a day where it's just you and yourself, like, and just make the most out of it. Do the most fun things that you can just by yourself. And it really does change, like, it just changes a lot of things internally, I think. Like, for me, it made me more aware of the things that kind of made me happy in the moment, but it also made me appreciate myself, like. And then once you become so like comfortable, you radiate that onto other people, and I don't know, it's just nice, I think. But yeah, I just think as you grow older, dynamics between friendship changes. Not necessarily, it can not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just a thing. It just happens. And I think, like, it makes sense, because when you're kids, like when you're literally like very young, like 5-6 years old, you become very attached to your friends because you play with them, you see them all the time at school, whatever. Same thing when you're a bit older, when you're like 10, and then 15 as well, like 15, 16, then 18, like you just start to do like other things like you get to go out with your friends, you get to just experience new things, kind of the world when you're with your friends. Even when you're in your 20s, like now this is when things are a bit different. I guess most of your friends might get into relationships, so the dynamic here changes. And then late 20s, maybe early 30s or 30s, when people start to like settle down with their significant others, maybe get married, and again, dynamics between friendships change, but they're still your friends. You'd still meet up with them and stuff. So like, but again, like I mentioned, dynamic changes here. And then a bit later on, if you start a family, then you have kids, your friendships here just change different. Like it just becomes completely different, right? But you might see them at a barbecue. They might invite you over to the house. Like that, it's like you have different types of friendships. Like your friendship with your best friend at 40 will be different to your friendship with your best friend at 14, and not necessarily a bad thing. But yeah, if you are worried, concerned about maybe not having a best friend anymore, or that you feel like you're drifting away from your best friend, just think of it as a change, in a way, not necessarily a bad thing. But also, it's really important to have open and honest conversations with people, especially when you kind of mature, because I think that's like being very open and honest really forms a friendship. That's what I've found out. But yeah, no, I hope you found some sort of value in this, because I don't know, it's just something that I've personally been thinking and experiencing over the last year and a bit, I guess. But yeah, see you in a bit.